abundance is really you waking up to your true nature, to your eternal spirit. And I'll take it. I'll take that. Why? Because the old abundance that I've been taught, that abundance comes from things outside of me, that happiness is outside of me, that everything outside completes me, I have been ultimately miserable. How many of you, tell me on the chat, have been miserable with that narrative? So what if collectively here, even as a community, we can start to change this narrative of this understanding that what is true abundance? So when your aim is to connect to your inner world, when your aim is to connect to your true nature, to your true self, when you want to be guided by the Holy Spirit, right? When you want to just really, really tune into the self-realization, self-actualization, to work on non-manipulation, on non-control, on non-victimization, on non-judgment. What happens is that we recognize that our job is secondary. Our job is secondary. We're here taught in the world, like, to have abundance, you need to have a job. And with true abundance, you start to recognize that, yeah, it's great you have a job. I'm not even saying that you don't need, I mean, this is just going to give you more clarity so you could come back to your job with a better mindset, right? So your jobs become necessary. It says here secondary, because your job isn't about earning money anymore, right? And your job isn't about working with people or impressing friends or gaining respect or securing yourself or becoming more confident or becoming more worthy. You let go of that definition of what abundance is, of letting go of believing that that is your source and that defines you. And then what happens is it's you come back to a space of where you have the opportunity to see and understand that your true job, right? Your true job is to start to begin to see through the eyes of the Holy Spirit, letting go of judgments that I said earlier, perceiving through Christ's vision, and allowing your actions in the external world or your job or your family or your friends to remind you, to give you a reminder of when you've departed from the mind of God. So you use the world, you use your job, you use your relationships as a tool, as an opportunity to come back to the mind of God. So when we can come into the world and understand that jobs are secondary and that really our real job is to connect to spirit. Our real job is to actually come into our jobs and to recognize that this has nothing to do with our job at all. But to allow the job and the relationships and the conversation of money and everything that appears to be informed that you think completes you to remind you of who you are in truth. To know, oh my God, this is giving me an opportunity to forgive. Oh my God, this is giving me an opportunity to return to the mind of God. Oh my goodness, I'm able to see here in this dynamic with my relationship with my husband, with my friend, I get to look and see what is the truth. And there is my wealth, and there is my abundance, and there is my freedom. I'll take that wealth anytime, any day. And not saying that you won't have money. It's not saying that you're not going to be successful. It's not saying that you don't need, that having things in form isn't bad. It doesn't mean you need to relinquish all your possessions and be a hippie, in Timbuktu. I'm not asking you for that. What I'm saying is that you get to have your clarity. You get to have a clear mind, a clear slate of knowing who your Father is, knowing who your eternal spirit is, knowing your eternal self, your anchor in God. You get to be in that, and then the world is, I guess they say, your oyster. And you get to experience life from a different perception. You have money, good. You don't have money, good. Your relationship is working good. Your relationship is not working good. Whatever is the reality of what is in the moment is your freedom, is your abundance, is your wealth. It says here, and you go on and you do your best in your job. Okay, you do your best in your job. You're creative, you're excellent at the same time, and you enjoy it, but you don't expect anything in return from this clarity. You don't expect anything in return. You don't expect for anybody to love you. You don't expect for anybody to tell you you're good, because you have that clarity. You don't expect anything in return because you know what is your truth. Because you realize you cannot be a failure. You realize you cannot be a failure, and the worst that can happen is that your beliefs and the cuckoo thoughts and the caca thoughts come in the way. That's the worst that can happen. The worst that can happen is that your thoughts start to go back into believing that abundance is outside of you. That's the worst that can happen. But you can always come back with the help of the Holy Spirit. So how do we connect more to our true nature, to the Holy Spirit? Is by that willingness. I am so willing to listen to Spirit. I'm so willing to have Spirit guide my way. Again, I started with this part here that says, my eyes are failing on me. How many of you guys, your eyes are after 40? My God, my eyes, I can't see any glasses. It says here, if you knew who walks beside you on the path you have chosen, fear would be impossible. If you realize your connection to Holy Spirit, if you realize that when you hold Spirit's hand, you are so guided, you are so taken care of. So what does that look like? What does that look like? Okay, this is how it looks like. You know me, I like to give practical application. I have to say that all these things that I said, I didn't realize that I have forgotten about this. Sometimes you forget. And I was actually making money very real about a few months ago, because all my expenses went up with this new desire to have more expansion, to just really do what I'm guided to do and follow my excitement and my creativity and my desire. So I've gone on to hire a team. I have an assistant now, a full-time assistant. I have platforms that I need to pay for. I have a lot of costs that have gone up. So everything has gone up. So I was starting to have this narrative of, oh my God, I need to make more money. Right? Automatically, it just started happening. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to make more money. And I allow that in. That's the way you listen to Holy Spirit, is you allow yourself the grace to think what you're going to think without judgment. So what I was doing is I was, okay, that's funny that I'm starting to have these thoughts and beliefs. It's like witnessing my thoughts and beliefs. Oh my God, I'm falling asleep. To my Father. And I'm starting to believe that money is very real. And I'm starting to think that my source is outside of me. And I'm starting to believe I can't afford things, or I'm starting to believe that, my income is going to go less because of this idea that I've had to expand. And then I start laughing because I start to get the joke within the narrative of me observing my cuckoo thoughts, which that's what we do. That's how I listen to Spirit, is that I first rest. I rest in the cuckoo-ness. I rest in the reality of it. I don't judge it. I don't make myself wrong about it. I'm like, ooh, this is so interesting. Let me get curious. Instead of, I'm scared of this thought, or I'm scared to do this, or I'm scared to start a membership, or I'm scared to, have Spirit Sundays. I'm doing a bilingual service on Sunday. I'm scared to do that. It's going to be back and forth, Spanish and English. Instead of I'm scared, is I'm curious. I'm curious. I'm so curious. I want to be in the wonder. And then the mind I start to become unhooked. And then I realize that I'm so taken care of, that I have the money that I have, that I'm so grateful for the help that I have, and that I can provide for an incredible assistant that has been with me for over 7 years, at the beginning working for peanuts, and able to provide for this person that's provided so much for me. And knowing that money's plentiful, and knowing that I will be provided for, and knowing that everything will be here for me, just as it's always been all my life. So Spirit tells me when I channeling journal, my friends, get one, my journal. I don't remember the exact words, but I asked Spirit, give me a message about abundance. Give me a message of this fear that I have about money or my business right now. And it's always the same. and it's quiet. Get in the quietness and remember me. And then I heard, hold my hand. I will show you the way. And what I got is the word patience.